Again and again. Thank you very much, the Honorable Moses Jabatis, Chairman of our party, and a very distinguished Member of Parliament representing the constituency of Beaufort North. Tonight, I'm happy to be in Ancillary, but before I move into my presentation, let me just acknowledge the presence of our political leader, former Deputy Prime Minister, and Member of Parliament for the constituency of Castries East, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre. First Deputy Political Leader and Member of Parliament for Castries South, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Hilaire. Chairman of our party, the Honorable Moses Jean-Baptiste. Endorsed candidate for Ancillary Canaries, Wayne Girard. I'll hold back the Honorable for the time being. But in a few months from now, I will be saying the Honorable Wayne Girard. Former parliamentary representatives, Dr. Mondesi and Brother Lancico, former endorsed candidate, Brother Victorine, executive members of our party, executive members of the Ancillary Canaries constituency group, Jean Slawe, Jacques Anawi, Mamai Leba, and also permit me to say good evening to the many supporters of our party who live overseas, people in the diaspora. And it is always a pleasure for me, as the parliamentary rep for Denry North, pour prendre l'occasion et pour dire bonsoir pour tout le monde qui a supporté les bas, qui a resté l'autre pays, en particulier ces moun noirs qui en Martinique. Et quand je vais prendre l'occasion pour crier non Bok, Wowo, Maraya, Sharon et puis Maui, Laza, Choukou, Nadia, et puis en pile je Denry North qui en Martinique et qui va pas mentir Town Hall Tuesday et bien pièce activity Saint Lucia Labour Party Kani. Tonight, I'm happy to be in Ancillary once again. And when the political leader called me to tell me that I'll be speaking in Ancillary tonight, I was extremely happy. Because there is something about Ancillary Canaries. Anytime you enter the election period, if you really want to know what is going to happen in St. Lucia at the polls, just take a drive down to Ancillary Canaries. And in the past couple of weeks, I can tell you the people of Ancillary Canaries are ready for change. We have been governed by the Alan Chasney administration for the past 4.5 years. And tonight I must ask you the question. Is Ancillary Canaries as a constituency a better place 4 years after the United Workers' Party won the general elections? Est-ce que Ancillary Canaries c'est en première place au soya après 4 années et demie dat flambeau qu'a gouverné pays cette lycée? Écoutez-moi non. Est-ce que vous allez en pièce l'autre place en cette lycée et vous me des questions ça là, moun kay aussi de bagay plus mauvais débutant flambeau venu en gouvernement. But we saw the signs from very early, my brothers and sisters. From very early, we saw the signs of bad governance. Nous avons un gouvernement qui nous savent pas de quel travail en l'enterrer Jean pays. Et nous pas de pièges. Les sept lycéens pour décision, ils ont qu'à voter by parti flambeau. Nous perdons. Et nous considérons nous perdons et nous avons une chance pour gouverner. Mais ce n'est pas plus nous perdre. Nous savons nous tenir en responsabilité pour payer nous et pour ces gens qui ont voté par Saint Lucia Labour Party. Et c'était des voix nous pour que le gouvernement ait fait ça qui était nécessaire en l'état pays. And we noticed from very early that this government was not going to work in the best interest of the people of St. Lucia. We had never seen wastage at that level in our government. Unprecedented levels of wastage. And you know one of the biggest atrocities or pligole where government ça a fait, c'est manière yo maltraité cette lycéen. The neglect of the people of this country, the neglect of the people of Ancillary, the neglect of the people of Belvedere and Jacmel and Roseau and other parts of the constituency. Every major sector in this country has suffered at the hands of this government. Ask the banana farmers. Farmers would cut bananas, 4, 5, 6 cuttings, and they would not get paid for their hard work. The fishermen of Dennery, closer to my constituency, and I'm sure the same is true for the fishermen of ancillary canneries. Là où t'es sorti la mer, et que vous venez et puis pêche ou ça mène une Fish Marketing Corporation, et que tourne d'eau et que ça vous caille payer pour poisson mener, et que ça soit famille et puis issue. C'est juste ça là, moun ka quitté Kayo, 4 heures bon matin, ka aller la mer, aller pêcher, et que là yo vini et puis pêche là, de les 6 h 7 h soir, au ji yo hen côté que yo ça y vendre. Yo en tout cette lycée qui a 20 poissons, qui l'appli, qui pas l'appli, qui l'ouaille, en tout petit coin cette lycée, qui attend qu'on 11 h soir, minuit, de les yonne bon matin, et que les bas vini ouais tellement les yo pas à vendre. Poisson qui supposé vendre pour $10 en livre, yo ka do point pour $4. Et que sou ka ba yo 350 yo ka still point. Aba un gouvernement qui a dépensé plus que 100 millions de dollars pour mettre en place pour cheval vin courir et pour passer en des pêcheurs ou passer en des femmes à figue. What kind of government is this? And this is what you, the people of Ancillary, must go to the polls to vote against. We have to reinstate the St. Lucia Labour Party. On y pour mener St. Lucia Labour Party vie pour gouverner à faire cette lycée. Et que vous savez, c'est les bas en gouvernement. Jean-Anse Kanawi, qui a joué un primaire soulagement en ce bail-là qu'il a fait en community. They came in, and from the first week, they started destroying the things that were dear to the hearts of St. Lucians. They closed down Radio St. Lucia. They closed down the Fish Marketing Corporation. They refused to give a subvention and support to the National Trust. And they told you that they were going to create a new St. Lucia. And I remember a very prominent citizen saying that, yes, he heard when the Prime Minister said that he was going to create a new St. Lucia. But what the Prime Minister did not tell us is that in his quest to create a new St. Lucia, he was going to destroy everything that mattered to the people of St. Lucia. And a government that has wasted money on almost everything you can think of, my brothers and sisters. Do you know that approximately 2 years ago, they had fought the National Trust. They had refused to give a subvention and support to the Blind Welfare Association. They discontinued the playing field maintenance program. And everything that meant something to the people of St. Lucia, that was destroyed. And roughly 2 years ago, on a Sunday, on Mother's Day, the government of St. Lucia, the United Workers' Party administration, to use colloquial language, they roll on mothers with their trays on Mother's Day to chase them off the sidewalks, take their trays and dump the trays in some remote location. What kind of government? Where's the compassion from this government? These are the things, my brothers and sisters, we have to vote against. En tout pays la terre, qui c'est l'Amérique, qui c'est l'Angleterre, qui c'est un Caraïbe, ou kay ni moun en société qui passe à faire rien bay koyo. Et c'est pas faute yo. Mais ou passe à tourner dos en les yo comme un gouvernement et que yo mendicant et que yo c'est gens pauvres à cause yo pas de significance en society. We have a moral responsibility to those persons who cannot fend for themselves. And then they will tell you it is COVID. I remember seeing a clip where a lady on her hustle by the market is being wrestled to the ground by city council officials. Except pour where tamados la ka roule ka len la chimek machine ka croiser. And these are the people that we are going to represent as a party that is loaded with compassion, my brothers and sisters. Wastage, wastage, wastage. This United Workers' Party administration, we are being told, or we've heard, that they paid approximately $14 million to a company known as Permandu to do work that the public servants of St. Lucia were accustomed to doing. And at the same time, we are hearing, or it is alleged, that they were paying $13 million to Pemandu. They refused to give a subvention and support to the Blind Welfare Association. They took $30 million of our pension money to give to Cabot Links to develop golf course. But at the same time, that Cabot Links, an investor who's supposed to come into this country with his money, embark on a project to create employment and to help develop our economy, yo vini le men bala. Ek premier ministre et gouvernement ça là, ka prend $30 millions en la NIC nous et ka bayo pour faire projet. Et même les yo ka fait ça, même gouvernement ça refusé by National Trust pièce qualité l'argent pour continuer bon travail là National Trust qu'a fait. Nous tenons l'autre compagnie Ernst & Young à peu près $40 millions, approximately $40 million to do work that the public servants of St. Lucia were accustomed to doing. And at the same time, we're hearing that this company is getting approximately $40 million from our government. They refuse to reinstate the laptop program. And last week or earlier, yesterday, as a matter of fact, when the schools of St. Lucia reopened their doors, there were a number of children who came to school without their supplies, who could not afford the laptop. And up to this morning in my constituency office, and I know the same is true for my parliamentary colleagues, parents are still coming knocking at our doors, asking for a little assistance because they lost their jobs during the COVID period. And a government that is supposed to be looking out for the people, a government that is supposed to be working in the interest of the poor and the marginalized, they are busy borrowing money at every sitting of parliament, and they're embarking on big road construction projects. My brothers and sisters, the roads may be necessary, but COVID, as I said earlier on, has affected every country in the world. And the bigger countries, the United States of America, England, France, they have decided that they cannot go ahead with the plans that they had for the development of their country because of COVID. So they have gone back to the drawing board and they have re-examined their priorities. Some of the big projects that they wanted to embark on, they have decided to scale down and channel their resources into providing comfort for people at the level of the family, at the level of the home, at the level of the school, and at the level of the things that matter most to those countries. But pass it, listen. Yo pa mele si moun pa sa mette en livre sik en les tabio pour bay issue audité. C'est go chemin yo vle faire. C'est go projet airport yo vle faire. Et puis bagay comme ça. And we're saying to you tonight, as we've been saying for some time now, a government of the St. Lucia Labour Party will put the people of St. Lucia first. A government of the St. Lucia Labour Party will ensure that before we embark on big multi-million-dollar projects, that the average person in Ancillary, the average person in Bexon, the average person in Vieux-Fort North and Dennery and Choiseul should be in a position to provide the basic necessities to their children and to their family members. And what about the Packer Company? We've heard about the Packer Company. $30 million to upgrade playing facilities. And the money is only being spent on 4 facilities that are in communities being represented by members of the UWP. And at the same time that they're paying an individual $30 million to upgrade 4 playing fields, the rest of the playing facilities in this country are in a state of abandonment. And young people cannot go to the fields anymore to get a sweat or to engage in any sporting activities because the facilities are abandoned. One private company in St. Lucia, a hotel we were told, benefited from a tax break to the tune of $24 million. But at the same time, you're going to allow one private entity to benefit through a tax break to the tune of $24 million. You cannot reinstate the distress fund. And the distress fund, c'était un argent that Labour Party te ni le nou te un gouvernement à peu près $400,000, $400,000. Because nous comprenons tous les l'année qui c'est vieux fort, qui c'est laboui, qui c'est choisi, soufouye, en slawe, gozile, babono. Tous les l'année ou obligé de news qui c'est bon matin, après-midi, et bien, au soir. Ou ni pourtant news côté qui, at least, yon ti kay plywood, et bien, deux ti kay plywood, tape brûlé. Et que de mettre ces kay ça, yon en travail. De yon en radin, et yon a une phone call là pour dire, ti kay plywood là, ou travail tellement ouais pour faire, il brûlé. Et que moun sa pas d'insurance. Et que moi, ha wen le TV, grand homme, ka hele, because yo ped ti kay là, yo tenir, et puis tout ça qui était en dedans. Et que yo pas savent qui manière. Yo ça mette deux sheets plywood ensemble encore pour bailler yo anti-roof. Et c'est pour ça nous tenons distress fund now. So that laissez bailler ça a été fait. Ou ka aller for parliamentary representative qui ou c'est flambeau ou qui ou c'est liba. Ou ka oti prime minister et puis prime minister ka ba ou l'argent en check pour bailler moun ça là et c'est moun ça ka ni kay encore. Même gouvernement qui a dépensé autant l'argent en les bagages qui pas nécessaire. Pas ça mettre $400,000 en budget là pour distress fund nan. Et c'est juste ça si kay ou brûlé et c'est bail les ba ou ka voter ou ka supporter les ba ou pas ni pièce bonne chance that gouvernement kay supporter ou et puis ba ou l'argent pour ça faire kay encore. My brothers and sisters, we've heard of Ojo Labs, a lot company qui a tapé un pile l'argent hot gouvernement. And at the same time that the government of St. Lucia is providing financial support to Ojo Labs, we have small businesses in St. Lucia. We have small business people in St. Lucia who are trying to make an honest contribution to the development of this country. In the area of business, they have to fold up their businesses. They have to pack up and leave because they're not getting the requisite support from the government, whilst they can stand by the wayside and watch foreigners enjoy largesse from this government. This government, my brothers and sisters, has not worked in the interest of the people of this country. Gouvernement ça a beaucoup travail en l'intérêt cette ici. Et vous savez qui ça? Tout de suite qu'il y a une élection. Et puis pas moi qui couiller, c'est pas nous les parti qui couiller. Mais on sera moi dou en cela oui, that moi quoi élection qui venir en peut-être 8 pour 10 semaines encore. Et il s'agit plus suite passer ça. We are in an election period. Elections are on the horizon. And soon from now, if they've not started in ancillary countries, they'll be coming to you. They'll be knocking on your doors. And they will ask you to give them another chance. They will tell you that it was COVID. But nous avons only COVID depuis décembre. And avant COVID, le gouvernement a gaspillé l'argent et il a gaspillé 4 l'année. And they have absolutely nothing to show for this term. Et ça, yo ka fait? Yo busy ka try claim projet qui était commencé par le gouvernement là-bas. Yo ka try claim ce projet ça pour faire quoi yo ha travail. But I've said to them before that the people of St. Lucia are not as gullible as they think. Jean St. Lucie pas couillon encore. Et là, il y a pile monde qui pas parler. Yo pas parler because yo ni chef faible pour gouvernement. Yo pas parler because yo ka espérer date élection pour yo aller en ces polling station to vote out the United Workers Party. Et c'est pas un Denwinoff tout seul yo ka espérer. C'est pas un Castries East tout seul yo ka espérer pour vote contre gouvernement. C'est pas un Castries South tout seul et puis Laboui et puis Vieux-Fort South. Jean-Anse Kanawi are amongst those persons in this country who are more than ready to go to the polls to vote for Wayne Girard, and that is how they will be making a statement against the United Workers' Party. My brothers and sisters, my time is almost up. I want to leave you with one bit of advice. Élection pas gagner seulement là où ka fait des ordres et pour ka clap et pour tout rally et tout meeting. You have to ensure that you are registered. It is not enough after you've ensured that you are registered and your name is on the voters list. Mais on y a une responsabilité pour weki moun nan ki ka weti bokayou ki ka sibote leba. Mamayou e beti issue ki hani l'âge pour vote that you to ni ID card you et you have power pour vote. It is going to be an election where we cannot afford to take chances. We cannot afford to leave any stone unturned. because they will be coming hard. But we will be coming harder than them. And when the votes are counted in all 17 constituencies of this country, you can rest assured that the St. Lucia Labour Party will be forming the next government. And Wayne Girard, whom I referred to earlier as Wayne Girard, will no longer be called Wayne Girard, but it will be the Honorable Wayne Girard. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Peace and love.